I think we're going to wind it down. But I wanted to give you a chance to wrap it up and to tell everybody where they can find you and any closing comments and anything like that.
Well, again, I appreciate that you had me in this program. I really appreciate that. Amazing. Thank you for having me.
Very well.
And I hope this information that I tried to bring out is useful somehow for everybody.
Very much.
Really, I'm trying to do that.
Yeah.
And so to wrap everything up is that it looks like our Earth, the information that we have is not enough. We need to get and collect more data and digest them more and calculate more and analyze more to come up with more information, so our life will become better and less miserable. Okay. The thing that I found is that it looks like everything, although everything's connected to each other, what we have some facts and some clues how they are connected. So, and what I found is that there is a relationship between the biggest mysteries in our life and nature. And the relationship is mostly mathematics, the ones that I found, okay, so far, and I'm going that way. So the relationship between the nature and human as a part of a nature means that the airplanes and the UFO incidents and the disappearances of people, these things in specific locations are related to each other, okay? To convey and to explain these things, I needed to publish them step by step, one by one. There's a huge amount of research done, and I cannot fit all of them in one book. So I had to split them and go step by step. The first book that I published is Sha'Z Square, and it's been published in 2 languages, in English and in Farsi. Farsi was recently done. So that's most in the Middle East, and there's a relationship. It shows the relationship about many of these constructions that our ancestors built a long time ago, and how these constructions built and how they are related to each other, okay, with mathematics. I gave some examples, but there are other examples inside the book. There's an area inside the ocean, it's in the bottom of the ocean, it looks like a rectangle, and I called it the rectangle anomaly, and that has specific specifications that is breathtaking. These are all in the book called Sha'Z Square, and that's the 2nd edition. Get the 2nd edition if you're interested about that. Then I came to United States because I'm living here, and there are a lot of mysteries that people are asking me, did you take a look at them? There are specific locations in United States, spots like Sedona Place, like the Devil's Tower, and like other places such as, what is it called?
The Oregon Vortex.
Range.
Oregon
Yes.
Vortex too. That's
There's many of these places. And some of these places are near each other that we put them in an area. We found out, people, not me, practically found that they are in a triangular shape. One of them is the Bridgewater Triangle in the eastern corner, northeastern side of the United States. The other one is Lake Michigan Triangle. The third one is the Nevada Triangle. These are the 3 ones that we found so far on the main United States land. There are 3 more exciting ones. One of them is the Bermuda Triangle, which is very famous, and it's in the water. That's for another section, probably the 3rd book that I'm going to write after this. And there's another one, it's called Alaska Triangle. And there's another one near Japan called the Dragon's Triangle. I found a lot of interconnections between them mathematically and scientifically. These are all by map. But the one that I published so far as the part 1 of this series called Sha'Z Mystic Lines and Areas shows these 3 areas: the Bridgewater Triangle, the Lake Michigan Triangle, and the Nevada Triangle. These 3, the largest one is the Nevada Triangle. And like that. Fascinatingly, I found out that they are all 3 of them are on a straight line. The centers of them. So we have something in mathematics called the circumcenter and the circumcircle. So each triangle has only one, I repeat, only one circle that encompasses the whole triangle. So it touches the circumference of the circle touches the three corners of the triangle. This is the key. When I put that, I found the center of it as the center of this. It's called circumcenter. All three of them, their circumcenters, when you connect them, are on a straight line. And that's the first part. The second part that I found is that they have the same actually proportion. So the size of Bridgewater Triangle and the size of the Nevada Triangle, when you draw the lines, you see that the Lake Michigan Triangle, it fits exactly in the middle. Exactly. Another thing I found is their distances. This distance is like 1/3 of this distance. So how come their distances are the same? And then I split the distances into equal distances. It gave me like about 400 miles. The number 400 is very interesting. For example, the distance from Earth to Moon is 1/400th of the distance from Earth to Sun, and also their dimensions, their what's it called? Their ratios. Okay, that's why when eclipse happens, the moon fits exactly the size of the sun. Okay, the ratios it gives me the number 400 same way. So when I split the numbers into 400 sections, exactly 400 from the center of the Nevada Triangle reaches the Skinwalker Ranch. And interestingly, Skinwalker Ranch is on that line. So the distance and the location is related. Okay. According to the shape of these three triangles, I came up with a pattern. That pattern helped me to find another triangle here, which I call the Utah Triangle. This is for the first time being announced. The location, the distances, and their shape are related to each other. So there's another one here. There are two of them here, and there's one in New York. The one in New York is a little bit below this, what's called the Niagara Falls. And we have a lot of houses over there that they're haunted houses, just to give you an idea. These areas are enigmatic. These areas are somehow containing
thinner veil in those areas where things seem to be able to pierce through and these events can occur.
Yes. So these forces that are coming from under the ground that I was talking about, which is the hypothesis that I have and is written in at the end of this, the last chapter of this book, explains why these locations are strange. So there's a specific force coming out from the ground, which is actually the combination or the net force of all the celestial objects and their movements around. So that's why we have different timing, and that's why we have different powers and forces. Okay, so these spots, so far I found that they're interesting. And there are a lot of other things involved, like for example, the eclipse is involved. The recent eclipse that happened that crossed the United States, if you look at the path, this is a new thing. It passes exactly from this middle of between Utah Triangle and Nevada Triangle, exactly from the middle. And when it goes to the other side, these locations are also fascinating, shows specific geometric relationship between these lines. So the main line that I draw from here to here, I call it Sha'Z principal line. Okay. This Sha'Z principal line, if you continue, goes all around the world, including the location that Amelia Earhart, for example, got confused and got lost. Okay, this is just gives you a heads up about what's next in the next book on these things.
But I just want to ask one last question, Shah, real quick, because Japan has released a bulletin saying that they're worried about a big earthquake happening. So I can't let you off tonight without asking you if you can predict anything relating to Japan.
So predicting earthquake is a combination of all these things together, okay? So one method that I did and I wrote it and published in that book, is that I looked at the Japan earthquake, now that you brought it up, okay? The Japan earthquake happened in specific time and location. So if I'm right, so the celestial objects going around the earth are related to the earthquakes, right? So one of the largest celestial object near Earth is the sun. So we rotate around the sun once every year, right? So I went backwards to the previous earthquake, largest earthquake in 1 year that happened on the planet Earth. I found Haiti earthquake, which I was talking about it. So these two earthquakes are far away from each other. My intention was not their location. My intention was their timing and their magnitude. And the same distance of time, the gap that I found, I went backwards 6 times. I found 6, 7 earthquakes, okay? Their magnitudes were related and the times were related. My research was not have anything to do with the locations. But interestingly, when I put them together, all of them are on a straight line with same distances. And interestingly, in May, I think it was March 20th of 2012, which was my prediction, I came up with that date. And I'm writing this book in 2011, right? In 2012, I came up that the next earthquake is going to be again in Japan. And the time was about 7 a.m. in the morning, 7 to 8. And this is all published a year before the earthquake happened, okay? And it happened right in that time. The reason I came up with that is that these specific locations are 1,000 miles away from each other, 1,100, 1,200 miles away from each other on that line. And interestingly, very, very interestingly, the prediction date was March 20th of 2012, an eclipse was happening. This eclipse has a path on the Earth, and that path is precisely on the same path of these earthquakes.
It was on the path or the opposite side of the planet?
On the path.
It's on the path.
So I have a row of earthquakes
along the path of an eclipse.
Along the path of the eclipse. And I did this in 2011. It was published. You cannot find a book because it was ebook. And now, because nobody bought it, it looks like all those companies that brought it down. Okay. And I hold on to that because I need more actually evidences and more calculations to be more precise. So I stopped the project in that time. And my focus was more on the hurricanes and volcanoes. And I found a lot of amazing relationships between them. And now that I put everything together, I came up with this hypothesis that how these are related to each other. And now I'm heading towards publishing them from one side, from another side, continuing my researches. And if I continue them, I can not only predict the earthquake, if this continues, and if I go forward, I need the AI, probably algorithm to help me to come up, put everything together to come up. I not only can predict earthquakes, I also can predict hurricanes and their path.
Oh.
And I can predict the volcano activities. It's all rhymed. They're all connected to each other. It's not they're not separate. So it's a multidisciplinary actually research that I'm doing all alone by myself, and I really need help. But
you need AI. You need to get through to Mike Adams because he's building benevolent AI for at least the health field. But maybe you could retool his base, his language model, and put some of this information in and see if you can get it to predict earthquakes.
So I need to collect the information.
But do you have any predictions to leave us with tonight? Have you looked ahead, and have you looked in when's the next big one?
I looked at them. I came up with my conclusions, but I'm not going to reveal them now because I'm not very sure, confident about them. I have to wait until those things happen, and then I build up. But instantly, as soon as I come up with that process and everything, I will reveal it and you will see.
Well, I look forward to one day in the future you putting this out in advance to, because like you said, the people that get hurt, it would be helpful if they knew. But I think somewhere in some deep, dark military industrial complex hole, they know some of this stuff because they've used weapons. They know when there's a window that's open where they could exploit these things. So what you're doing is you're bringing it to the masses. You're bringing it to the people. And I appreciate that.
If they know it, I respect them because they like to protect our people. So what they're doing, the government and all the military, everybody is what they're doing is to protect our people. And if we are sitting down and talking with each other very freely, it's because of the security that we have. So
Yes.
that's why I always appreciate that.
Yeah.
But hopefully they will open up and eventually other people will know.
Right.
And it will help.
We've seen in Mexico, they had a drill on earthquakes, and that day there was an earthquake and a lot of damage, but everybody was out of the buildings, stuff like that.
Yes.
So again, sir, thank you very much for this
You're
interview.
welcome.
And again, we're both going to be speaking at the Alien event at the Alexis Park Resort in Las Vegas, October 17th through 20th. There's a great cast of speakers there. These events are very down to earth. You're available to speak to the people there. The guests have access to the speakers. There's a lot of social events, and it's a beautiful experience. So those of you that have enjoyed Sha'Z information, want to know more, because he's totally got more. This was a teaser tonight. He's got more.
Well, I hope
he's making us wait for his books. Sorry, go ahead.
I hope this information that everybody's giving and I'm giving, I'm just a curious person. That's it. I just collected it. But I hope this information that I gathered and I provided so far in my books and my search it's useful, it's helpful. The website that I put this information in, just to bring it up, is Ancient Mysteries Decoded. It's a trademark, actually, name and logo. So you can communicate with me through that portal. And the books are there, the videos are there, my other speeches are also there, and everything, the pictures, everything is there. And I hope to see you at the Alien events. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer over there.
All right, buy his book, folks. He's a brilliant man. Thank you very much, Shah, and we will see you all at the Alien event in October.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.